Flash is brought to you by Franco Trading Enterprise. Still, fun papa fee.
And that's the devastating situation in Bawumia in crime. And if you actually took a critical look at that, you realize that there's a lot of work that we have to do as a nation. Now, day in and day out, we have tried as much as possible to loud it enough for authorities to understand that where we're headed for doom. But unfortunately, the more we talk about some of these things, the more situations worsen. And the question you'll be asking yourself is, if a place like this exists and you're talking about future leaders, would you in any way add any of those people over there in terms of the youth as one of these people that you're talking about when you want to mention anything that has to do with future leaders and the way forward for this very generation? Now, you also realize that it's not even just the illegal mining that is ongoing over there. According to the reports, it was indicated that there are other social vices that are going on over there, including the issue of child trafficking, money laundering, and all of that. So the question is, are the authorities not seeing this? Have we not spoken about this enough? Are we just going to watch and see all these people go the way they are going, all in the name of survival? Now, the military have taken over the place. They understand that it will take them 2 weeks to be able to actually get the place, all of the place, raided of all the illicit and illegal activities that are ongoing over there. But the question is, how long can we continue like this? After the 2 weeks, are we going to see these people come back again and try to make the settlement another base? Or we're going to just clear them off and then take them to where? It's another question you want to be asking yourself right now. But this is what is happening. And this is the situation on the grounds. And so that's the reports from Bawumia in crime. I'm sure most of you are familiar if you're somewhere in the Western region. I'm sure maybe it's your first time you're hearing of this place as well. But whatever that is happening over there, it's a serious issue of concern. It's a national issue that we all have to take a critical look at and continue to speak on some of these things. So this morning, we'll be putting our attention again on the issue of illegal mining and what it's doing to the generation that are yet to come. I mean, if you're also out there and you are involved in this very fight, we should all understand that it's not a fight that is going to end today. But then, if we're able to put our efforts together, we'll be able to speak to the authorities and let them know that this is going to be a big issue that we have to take a look at. Now, if you even look at what is happening with our, water bodies and the rippling effects that is going to have on our social lives and, how we consume water and all of that, it's even scarier than it is, it is that we're looking at right now. And if we're not careful, we're all going to be at the losing end. And so please add your voice to the issue of illegal mining. It doesn't matter how small it is, wherever you find yourself. Don't say that we are not mining, they are not mining in my area. As for my area, as for where I am staying or where I'm living, there's no illegal mining, and so I do not really bother about what happens to illegal mining or what happens to our water bodies. It is definitely going to affect you one way or the other. Now, many people even living in the Greater Accra region and other places that mining is not actually, illegal mining is not even actually ongoing, are suffering the rippling effects of what is happening over those places, because people are beginning to, see how their waters are turning into, cream and all of that. So you might not necessarily be in a place where illegal mining is ongoing, but definitely you know that we have headed in a place where everybody is going to be affected one way or the other. Yes, I saw it happen in Cape Coast when we were there for a couple of weeks. We started having quality water. 2 days later, the water that was coming was something you cannot even use it for anything. You can't even decide that you want to bath with it. You can't. The color of the water, you can't say you want to bath with it. So if you want to talk about drinking, then that one, you don't even want to go there in the first place. So our water bodies are being destroyed. The water that is coming is turning into something else. We all do not want to be there. So please add your voice to this. It doesn't matter how small, like I said, just add your voice to the issue of illegal mining and let's protect our water bodies. This morning, we're going to be looking at that. We have Erastus, reports that he indicated that some of the places that he's been going, the situation keeps getting worse. There are other places where the military have also been able to, do their best to clear the people off those forests. Now, we know how many of them have been saved. We know how many of them cannot be saved. We know how many of them that we have to do extra to be able to actually reclaim them. And so it's a long journey, but hopefully we'll be able to achieve some progress with it. And constantly, we're going to be louding it over here on this very show. So please do well and add your voice this morning here on the illegal issue, mining issue. Now, the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources has also spoken about this, and he says that it's going to be taking a very deadly, attack when it comes to the fight against illegal mining. And as to how, that is going to roll out, we have no idea. But last week, we had some of the NDC communicators actually here. Gideon specifically mentioned that there's a certain strategy that the government is putting in place to ensure that we end this illegal mining thing. They are not going to put that strategy out there yet, but it's actually one that is very, 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 very drastic, and it's going to ensure that we're able to end illegal mining. We're still waiting on that. But let's get on to the front page of the newspapers, and then I'll introduce my guest in the studio. And we'll move on to the very substantive issues that we're discussing today. But you can send your messages ahead of time. Let us know what you think about the issue of illegal mining. Now, I'm hoping that many of the newspapers would have a report on that. But let's see. Daily Graphic this morning says government IMF agreement brings in $370 million US. And also Gold Board revokes gold dealers' licenses. Now, they say that there's no foreigner who's going to be actually selling gold in any place. If you want to do it, you have to do it the right way. So people have to now go for the license again, and they're putting that power in the hands of Ghanaians. They want Ghanaians to be involved in that. So if you're a foreigner, you do not have the power to actually sell gold now. And that's what PMMC is doing this moment. Now, Dr. Nyama gets AIE as a top role, and Africa Standards Organization Commonwealth delivered on AFCFTA, that's the African Free Trade issues that have also come up in a couple of days now. Pages 24 and 25, you can actually read more about it, and they're looking at how we can actually improve on our standards when it comes to the African organization in terms of Commonwealth. So you can actually get some details on that. E-Waste Fund accrues over 60 million Ghana cedis. That's also captured over there on the front page of the Daily Graphic. So you can read about that as well. At the back page, it says, don't take unapproved medications. And NYA holds stakeholder engagement on apprenticeship program. And talking about medications, unapproved medications, and what these guys are abusing out there, the young boys are abusing out there. You remember that throughout this week, we've had to talk about the issue of those illegal drugs. Red has always been in the picture. And there are many others. I was very disturbed watching a video yesterday of how these guys mix all these, medications together, add even some drinks to it. And I don't know how they do this, but it's crazy. It's crazy, and so it's something that we all have to continue to speak about. Now, the Accra Times this morning is reporting on a few other issues. The Gold Board is here again, and it says Gold Board strikes, get out of the local gold trading markets. They spoke about that. The Daily Graphic also reported on that as well. Now, Support Feed Ghana program, President Mahama urges stakeholders, and that's also another one that is coming up. And yesterday, there was an interview where Miracles Abuaji spoke about this and actually lauded the president for, pushing this agenda of we trying as much as possible to grow our own products and then, feed ourselves as a nation. And it's something that I'm sure we don't even want to politicize it. I mean, it's something we all have to come together and ensure that we're able to do this for our own sake as a nation. Now, Kusago Overlord salutes IGP. That's also captured on the front page of the Accra Times. And yesterday, the IGP and his men were out there. Now, we understand that the IGP almost got shot. His armored car was fired at, and that's the issue in Boko right now. Now, matters arising from Boko, expect that the Boko issue will be coming up, on many of the newspapers this morning. I remain committed to the peace process, Ayorega says, so beware of the Boko conflict. Minority also speaks on that as well. So that's the Accra Times. The Ghanaian publisher this morning says government cooked fiscal data for politics. Dr. Amin Adams says so. Galamsey exposes some judge's hypocrisy, and Minority donates 200,000 Ghana cedis to Cantonment to fire victims. And NPP holds crunch meeting today. Okwe's report reforms high on agenda. Otufo resumes Boko conflict mediation. That's also captured by the Ghanaian publisher this morning. And the very last one will be the Daily Dispatch, which says it cost about $150 million to run for president and $650,000 as an MP. CDD reports indicates, and Ghana imports $4 billion worth of tomatoes yearly. That's also captured over there on the front page of Daily Dispatch. Chief of Staff to lead a second Kowu Business Forum on Saturday, and that's on the Daily Dispatch front page. All right. So at the back page over there, it says we want to end the 4 billion Ghana cedis annual tomato imports from Burkina Faso and 3 billion Ghana cedis on pepper imports. Agric Minister says so, and it has Honorable Eric Opoku in a conversation with the president, also captured at the back page of the Daily Dispatch. That will be pretty much the newspapers that we have this morning here on Newsflash. It's proudly brought to you by Franco Trading Enterprise. Still, phones Papa Pafie. This morning we're entreating you to go to Franco Trading Enterprise and grab yourself some phones, some CCTV cameras, televisions. If you want air conditioned refrigerators, you can buy them at Franco Trading Enterprise. And please do call the numbers you see on your screens to ask us any questions you want to ask. If you want to make any inquiries, call the numbers. And once again, do not pick any number on social media. Just call the numbers that you can see over here. Or better yet, go on Google Play Store and download the app. It's the Franco Trading app, and you're good to go. Our website is www.francotrading.com, and you can also get all the details that you need over there. Our branches are opened, and so please do walk in at any time and enjoy the very best of our products that we're giving to you. Franco Trading Enterprise says still phones Papa Pafie. Now, this morning I've been joined by my brother. I haven't seen him for a while, but it's always good to have him over here on the show. And Awal Mohammed is here. I see him from afar on Facebook, doing what he has to do for his party, but it's always good to have him here in the studio. How is it going?
Fine, thank you. Yes, it's been a while. I went on a break for the Ramadan, and I think this is my first appearance.
Yeah, after
after the Ramadan on any media house.
It was a special reason why you wanted to just rest?
Yeah, I wanted to just concentrate. I have been doing this for like 11 months, so I wanted to use that 1 month to rest, reflect, and also supplicate to God for at least good health and all the things that life needs. So I felt that within the period of the Ramadan, I should be able to concentrate and fast and get away from the media and refresh and come back stronger, inshallah. So that was the reason I decided to just take off. And this is the first time I'm doing that. I've not really, during the Ramadan period, I still go. You hear people say, well, maybe he didn't want to lie or something. But I tell them I'm not a Ramadan Muslim. I'm everyday Muslim, and what I have to say it, whether in Ramadan or out of Ramadan. So it has nothing to do with you didn't want to really lie or something.
Yeah.
Yes.
And upon reflection, we're still good with NPP?
Yes. We're still in the process of trying to do the reforms that we have set out to do. You know, it's usual with the party that from 1992, even if we win the elections, we try as much as possible to set up a committee to look at how we're able to win the elections and lessons we've learned from the elections and so on. So, but you see, it's not very much pronounced when you win the elections. People do not really know. But in 2016, after we won the elections, there was the Poku Edusei Committee that tried to look into how we were able to win the elections with that margin. And in 2020, after the 2020 elections, we had the Osafumafo Committee to also look through it. So we have the Professor Michael Kwe Committee, which was supposed to finish their work last month. I'm told they were extended. They were given 1 month extension. So I'm sure by the end of this month, they should be able to submit the report to the National Council. And I am happy that there will be a lot of reforms. So there will be conferences to be able to really bring all party people together so that we're able to put out all these reforms, approve it, then change some portions of our constitution so that we're able to go.
We're still looking at the same flag bearer? Or there might be?
Yes.
I heard Miracle speak about that.
Yes, in my case, though, I still think that we do not change the flag bearer. The flag bearer has done really well. We had a lot of things that went against us as an incumbent party, and you see, it has never happened before that you have an incumbent government go for 8 years and still win the elections. It never happened in this country. We were trying to break the 8 cycle, but it didn't work out. And that was really it.
The party should understand
exactly.
that.
So, and again, you see, we've marketed him to the extent that even your 5-year-old, when you show his picture, he will say Dr. Bawumia. Against an NDC that is coming up with a new candidate, we don't know who is even coming. You understand? So if you have someone that is known, that the face is known, he has articulated his views, and today, the things that Dr. Bawumia has talked about, the things that he has written in his manifesto, are things that the NDC are trying to implement.
That's what it is?
Yes, in the case of the passport acquisition and so on. Dr. Bawumia wrote it black and white in the manifesto that when we come, if we were to win the elections, January, February, you will not go and queue at the passport office and go and look for your passport again. You sit in the comfort of your home, you apply online with your Ghana card. You not go and capture your biometrics again because we'll synchronize the Ghana card with the passport office. They have it already. So the moment you send your Ghana card number, they are able to extract everything, your biodata, your picture and everything. Then you pay a fee. If you need it even to be delivered to your home, that will be done. Okujeto Ablakwa, when he went to Parliament for the vetting, he mentioned that he is in talks with the Communication Ministry so that they are able to roll out what Dr. Bawumia has been able to really write in his manifesto. So clearly you could tell that the way this government is messing up, and when you check our manifesto, we don't even need to write another manifesto again. With a manifesto, with a vision of Dr. Bawumia and everything. Against NDC bringing in a new candidate because President Mahama will finish his term per our constitution. So it means Dr. Bawumia will be the best person to be able to really win the election.
Speaking about the way the NDC is messing up with some of the things that you've spoken about, it brings me to our conversation this morning on the issue of the galamsey. You think it's been handled pretty well, according to what we've seen so far? It's been 3 months.
It's worsening. And again, as I told you earlier about Dr. Bawumia, you know, I was watching one of your shows on Joy News, that is the news file. Samson Ladi, the host, said it clearly, that if this government wants to fight galamsey, the best option is for them to go and look at the blueprint by Dr. Bawumia. He's captured on video. This is Samson Lada, an independent journalist, sits on the show and said that the way this government is handling the galamsey issue, if they really will want to handle it well and are able to really control galamsey in this country, they should go and look at the blueprint set out by Dr. Bawumia to be able to.
And that blueprint is what?
Dr. Bawumia said that the first thing to do is that when we came in, we tried the military option. We tried the Galam stop, we did the Operation Halt by burning excavators and so on, arresting people, jailing them and so on. And still we're back to square one because we still don't see end in sight. So he said that when we come in, first thing is that LI, that mandates people to mine in the forest zone, that LI will be repealed. That was the first thing Dr. Bawumia said. Again, we'll make sure that at least charm fines will not be used for mining in this country. Again, we'll make sure that we will get the people. Yes, we'll make sure that we will get the community. We'll make sure that the Geological Survey Department will be empowered enough to be able to do all the prospecting. So prospecting license will also be cancelled. No one will be given any prospecting license. So the Geological Survey will be able to do that. They will be given the mandate to do that. Again, we set up the Minerals Development Bank so that they bring in implements like gold catchers and so on. Then, if the Geological Survey, for instance, goes to a community like Anyinam, and they say that there is gold here, it will be given to the community. Community mining will be activated. It will be given to them. They will be given the license. They will be given the implements to work over there. So tomorrow, if you go to Anyinam and you see that the water is being destroyed, you will hold the chief and the opinion leaders responsible. And they will never destroy their water bodies because they are the beneficiaries of that water body. So you see, it is clear that when you ask them to own up, but you see, in this case now, someone from Togo, Nigeria, or somewhere, and China will come to a community. He can destroy the community, the water in the community, without any, because he will not even drink that water. After the gold is depleted, he will just leave. So that is the roadmap by Dr. Bawumia to be able to really stop all these things. You don't need military. You don't need the military to go and even do all these things when you are able to really do all these that Dr. Bawumia has set out. But look at what is happening. When we came in, the first thing when this government won elections, the MP for Awal was ostracized by his own chiefs. They said he was giving licenses to people. He was given an entry permit to galamseyers to enter the forest reserve.
But those were allegations.
These are chiefs of the people of the community. The chiefs came with a press conference.
Yes, and I remember that.
Exactly. So you see, that was the first thing. Nothing happened to Oscar Oforilabi, or what's the name? That MP. Nothing happened to him. Not even, and his name was even mentioned that he should stop all these things and so on. Yes.
As the party, they didn't call him out.
No, they didn't. The NDC never called him out. The government never called him out. But the chiefs said it, that this man was given the entry permit and was taking them 200,000. Again, we saw when even forest guards move to stop military and so on, move to stop galamseyers, you get constituency executives preventing them from doing it and so on. It is worsening by the day. If you have really traveled to Kumasi within this period, when you get between Osino and Anyinam, they are doing the mining within the township, not even the outskirts, township. If you pass through, there is a bypass around Asamai Tamfoy. When you use that bypass and you enter the town itself, you see how galamsey is done with impunity. So it is worsening by the day. Now the government is telling us that they have some people called the blue guards. How?
463 of them are commissioned already.
When I checked their modus operandi, they said they were trained for 1 month, surveillance,
and all that.
survivor.
In fact, they're not even
they said
be involved in any
basic
confrontations.
Combat. Do you go into fist combat with people engaged in galamsey? They engage in shootouts.
They're supposed to gather the information and then they pass it on. In fact, they're not even supposed to confront anybody. They just have to, by intelligence.
With uniform.
Yes,
with uniform. They will go to the forest with the uniform.
Survey the place, find out what's happening here.
Trust me.
They gather the information and then they give the information.
If they are able to go there and go to even do the surveillance, few of them will come back. Because these are people who are sophisticated with guns. You ask them to go there and go and do the survey with uniform. And the galamseyer will see the person coming. Well, when it is a country when galamseyers overpowered 2 police officers and even 2 guns from them. And you're telling me that a party executive, a branch executive, you put your branch executives and give them uniforms and pay them around 3,000 cedis a month to go and do surveillance without guns and so on. It is unnecessary. You see, NADMO has this arrangement that they do. In every community, they have volunteers. The volunteers will be there and they'll be trained on how to douse fire and so on. They are not paid. They are volunteers. They are there to give information and so on. Why can't you get the community to be giving you information, empower the people there so that they give you information? They go incognito. They can even enter the forest and go look for job. That is when they will be able to know that someone is doing something here. But you're telling me that people in uniform will go into the forest and do surveillance. Which kind of surveillance? When the forest is also a very risky place that even the military do not really venture alone. You tell me these people will go and do this. So the government is not serious.
Okay. Let me get in Honorable Atta Issa, who has also joined us this morning here. He's the MP for Sagnet Rigu, and he's a finance committee member as well. Good morning, Honorable. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Good morning to you, to my brother, and to our viewers.
Thanks for the time. I'm grateful. He mentioned the issue of the blue gas. He's saying that it's a non-starter. When we want to fight, we should be looking at something even way bigger than what we're seeing right now.
All right. So let me begin by admonishing my brother that sermonizing us on the way to combat galamsey when he had just left office barely 3.5 months ago. And it is interesting this morning to hear some of the views that they are expressing in the form of a blueprint that never saw the light in 8 years. So you see...
But it was something to put together during the elections.
My point is that your president, the former president, had to put his presidency on the line in the fight against galamsey. In fact, he himself admitted at the later stage of his second term that he had failed because Ghana Water Company brought the cost of treatment of water for local consumption. The cost had gone up by 75%. The treatment level of our water bodies was destroyed. You had all these fine ideas that he's espousing here, yet we didn't see one. Now, this idea of the Blue Water Initiative, I'm sure maybe let me just, for the purpose of education. Number one, is not intended for combating. They are saying that they will be working with the Navy. They are not supposed to go into a forest. The objective is to restore the quality of our water bodies. That's all. This is not a galamsey combating in the forest reserve. So
they will put in base?
Yes.
Where they do this?
They just make sure that they... No, please get the difference. You are guarding and protecting and giving information on water bodies. So if the mining is happening in the forest, you are not inside the forest.
You are where the water body is.
Exactly. The idea is to guard it and give information. So if I'm in Osino, for example, and there's a forex there, and I see that people are now doing galamsey in the water body, all I do is to make a call. And then they come on board. And I'm saying that the challenges that we always face in the fight against galamsey has to do with the political interference. And let me say that there's a growing insurgency that as a country we have to confront.
Okay.
Because when the going become tough, it will not only affect the NDC, it will not only affect...
It's a national issue.
Yes.
But you see, Honorable, the issue has always been the fact that we all understand that it's a national issue, but unfortunately, we are not attacking it like a national issue.
So that's the political interference I'm talking about, the political will. So you cannot address the issue of galamsey without looking at, first of all, what is the root cause? Look, aside the economic strain that we get as a result of galamsey, because some of the export reserves that we would have gotten through legal mining is also wiped away by the illegal miners. So the economic strain, environmental degradation that we have, the health impact it has on our communities. In fact, in 2024, it was reported that babies were born with deformities in some communities. Those are the implications of engaging in reckless and illegal mining. So I think that it poses a significant threat to our very survival as a citizens of this country. So we must tackle it not on political lines, but we must tackle it encouraging the government to show commitment. I want to propose that if you look at, first of all, the current arrangement that President Mohammed is using, and I think it would be unfair to judge the outturn of some of the policies that he has brought in less than 98 days. I think it would be unfair to judge him like that. You cannot be comparing an 8-year war or an 8-year problem with just effort to restore the problem in just 97 days. I think it would be unfair. But moving on, I believe that this legislative instrument that we have brought to make sure that we make regulations in the gold area by the establishment of the gold board. This is one of the surest way of formalizing that sector. You see, I've always maintained you cannot win the war against galamseyers through the use of the military. Me, I believe that. For how long will the military be stationed in the forests? For how long will they be stationed at the illegal mining site? These are sophisticated criminals that you don't need to play with. But however, one of the causes of galamsey in most parts of the country is the retention regime. You look at a mining community still having issues with water, still having issues with educational facilities, still having issues with health facilities, still having issues with employment issues, yet the amount of gold reserve deposits in those communities are very high. So if you look at the retention regime, how much of what is being extracted is used to develop those communities? It's a way. So if I'm a native of a community and we have so much gold deposits, and I see that many companies are making it big out there, yet what comes to the community directly is poor. So that is why I'm saying that the retention regime should be looked at. And I support the current Minister of Lands proposition of using community mining regime. Oftentimes, the licensing regime is also a big problem for us as a country. You'll be there, somebody with no expertise in mining will be given a mining lease. In fact, if you look at from 7th December to 7th January, over 400 mining licenses were issued. To what end? That is why I'm saying that the political commitment. And look, it's an insurgency that we are joking with. It's an insurgency we are joking with.
But what's the government doing with these licenses?
So that's what I'm saying, that we are using the community mining regime, where now the district assembly at every community will produce a rep. The chiefs will produce a rep, religious leaders will produce a rep, the assembly will produce with community members, they will form the community mining task force. That will be in charge of first granting licenses. For example, if a chief or a religious leader in a community or the assembly members in a community are used as the first stop to getting information on illegal mining, no community will want their environment destroyed. So if the licensing is not coming from Accra, and it must first of all get clearance at the basic level, I think it will go a long way to helping the reckless issuance of licenses that we have been seeing over the period. So I'm happy with some of these legislative instruments. And then the use of this idea of AI to track importation of what? Excavators and shaft machines. Look, let's not be ostriches and play to the gallery. We all know that what equipments that are used to do this galamsey these days is not pick and axe. These are sophisticated machines. How was it imported? Who are the beneficial owners of those?
The allegations that the party executives are involved.
Deal with it. The issue is a national security threat. We deal with it without politicizing it. Even if a minister of state is engaged in that, you deal with it. Because when the negative consequences befalls on us as a country, he might flee. But you and I...
Honorable, is that what we're doing?
Exactly.
You remember that there have been allegations about the party executives involved in this?
These are just...
Have they been investigated?
These are allegations.
Have they been investigated?
Of course.
We found nothing? We didn't see any of that? Because these allegations keep coming each and every day.
You see, the last time the lands minister appeared before Parliament, he gave us an update as to some of the steps that they have taken so far. And a lot of them are being prosecuted as we speak. So my point is that it is not every day that he will come and give you daily reports. But I am saying that...
You don't think where we are right now with this situation, we will need that?
No.
We don't need reports.
We need reports. And he has been giving reports. In fact, on 12 April, he gave an update on the fight. In fact, even on your screens, you saw the hideout community that criminals and illegal miners have turned into a society. I don't know what...
we played it this morning, that village.
These are some of the updates that we normally see. And looking at the population in that den tells me that Ghana as a country, we are heading for a disaster. So the alternative livelihood program must be intensified. And I'm saying that if a galamsey can get 5,000 Ghana cedis a day or 10,000 cedis a month, and you say that the charade President Akufo-Addo did with the alternative livelihood program was to give some of them a cleaning job for 500 or something for 1,000 cedi. The person has enjoyed leisures, and now you are turning the person back. Now allow the community issue its licenses. Also make sure that you group these people with the mining interest and form cooperatives for them to do legalized mining with right training. I don't believe that it should be reserved for foreigners. If you look at our gold industry, Ghana has only a carried interest of 13.5% and royalties of 5%. It means a bulk of our oil exports is for foreign partners. And as a country, it is high time we develop our local capacity to be able to mine legitimately and legally. So why do you give concessions to private hands when you can group your people into cooperatives and give them small-scale concessions to make sure that they use it?
With all these that you have said, Honorable, and the fact that we're even heading towards disaster, you think that in the next 6 months we'll be able to see that there's a different story we'll all be telling when it comes to galamsey?
So you see,
the parties in power.
So you see, there are measurable outcomes that we use to determine whether your fight is successful or not. One is the level of turbidity you have in your water. Ghana Water Company must surely...
So the next 6 months...
So we should expect an improvement there. Two is also the cost of reclamation. Oftentimes, when it is degraded, we need to reclaim those forests and those lands. So
some we even reclaim them and then they get it back. These people get it back again.
That's what I'm saying, that these are some of the measurable outcomes that you use to determine. And then the state of our water bodies. In fact, I saw one video where mining activities even came close to a tarred road. In fact, they were even almost at the tarred road on the Kumasi-Accra way. So if you look at...
They're still there at Konongo.
Yes. So some of these things doesn't engineer hope in people. The fight against galamsey should be taken seriously, and there should be much political commitment. I expect nothing less from the NDC government. The same way, the higher standard that we took the MPP to must be meted out to the NDC. And I think that one of the reasons why the MPP might have lost the election was the fight against galamsey. Okay. Because people felt that in the introduction of this LI 2462, where we allowed mining in our forest reserves without political...
There's been concerns about it.
Yes.
The fact that we
refuse to repeal it.
Repeal it. Now, we'll talk about that.
All right.
Let me go on the phone and speak to Erastus and find out some of the updates that he has for us. Erastus, good morning.
Good morning.
I hope you're good, bro.
God's grace, I'm good.
Great. We've seen some updates that you've made. The last 24 hours, what can you tell us in terms of some of the mining sites and what's happening there, please?
Well, we have consistently drawn attention to the Supreme Forest Reserve. If you remember, in my earlier report,
Yeah.
I have spoken to the fact that armed men have besieged the Supreme Forest Reserve, and it's a no-go area for even the forest guard. And so this goes to confirm what we have been drawing attention to all this while. I must say it's a good thing. I congratulated the Ghana Armed Forces for taking that bold move. If you look at the kind of things that went on in that enclave, the number of people from different descent who have gathered in there, the vices that are being perpetrated in there, the onslaught on the forest reserve, it tells you that we have a long way to go, and this is the start. So first, I congratulate the Ghana Armed Forces. This is what we have been asking for all this while. The fight has just begun. That is just one out of the number of forest reserves that have been besieged by illegal miners. And so I'll still continue to draw attention to the fact that we still have armed men in Tanonimre Forest Reserve. About 4 days ago, I brought the drone footage from there, and you could see the illegal activities within the Tanonimre Forest Reserve along the Tano River. There are still armed people in Bawumia Forest Reserve. There are still armed people mining recklessly in Tanzania, even as we speak. So despite the number of raids they have conducted in there, I think that the seriousness they attach to Subri River has not been attached to Tanzania. And so we still have the remnants of illegal miners, armed people mining there. When you go to a Finch shelter belt, where the forest guard was attacked, there are still armed people in that reserve. Recently, they went to Jimira and Jimira Extension. They arrested some people. You know, we should be sending a very strong warning to people who want to invade these reserves. And I disagree with the president when he says, don't burn the excavators. If they are found in sensitive areas, like Bawumia, which is a GSBA, like Bawumia River, which is a GSBA, if you find them in Tanzania, which is a protected forest, then definitely you must send a very radical, strong warning to them by banning the equipment. If you ban somebody's 25 billion excavator, definitely he's not coming back with another excavator. And I think where we have reached, we need radical moves to be able to send strong warning down the lane that we are for business. And I think that has been sent in the Subri River. Let's continue with that.
The soldiers over there said that they're going to be there for 2 weeks to ensure that the place is totally dealt with in terms of the illegal activities that is ongoing over there. You think that after 2 weeks, these people will not come back to resettle there again?
You see the nature of the onslaught by the military, the burning of the settlements and all that. Going forward, I think I have heard suggestions that we should have a permanent post for the military in every region. So that is why I call for an organized attack on illegal mining, so that if we have duty posts, permanent duty posts in every region where there are forest reserves, so we can have one military post in Asante region which deals with forest reserves within that area, one permanent military post, say in Inchi, where they conduct their own operations consistently over time. So if you have permanent duty posts along all these areas, then definitely we will be having a clamp down on these things. I think the other thing too is for the government to face its own people. That is also another factor that is militating against this fight. All these invasion into forest reserves start with party chairman, regional chairman, constituency chairman who are leading Chinese and other people into reserves, who are not being able to be counted by the Forestry Commission guard. So we should be able to call these people to order and we should be able, as government, to face them. Whether it is your own party chairman who is mining in that forest, we should have the boldness to be able to flush them out. That is how we do it. And I think consistently, if we do it that way, we will be getting a hold on this situation.
Erastus, speaking about that, we've always mentioned that party chairman, executives are all involved in this. Most times it becomes allegations and nothing that you can really use evidence to back it up. Is it that we have the evidence, we're not giving it out, or it's just that mere allegations that is making it impossible for the government to now pinpoint and say that, you know what, so and so person's name has been brought to me, and according to the information I'm gathering, the person is involved in illegal mining or galamsey, and so we have to take the person on.
You see, these are not mere allegations. Some of us, we know what we are talking about. But we are not mentioning names because there's a legal twist to all this. Okay. Recently, I mentioned names of one Turkish national, and it has landed me in a lawsuit, and I'm fighting it alone. You see, these are very smart people who operate behind illegal mining. For example, there are some nationals, foreign nationals, who are connected to the invasion of a number of forest reserves in this country. But their names are not on any document you can lay hands on to advance your argument when you mention their names in court. Yeah. But these are not mere allegations. We should not treat them as mere allegations. And I think if the president feels that consistently, if I've been mentioning these names, and he feels that these are allegations, I think they would have taken me on by now. These are verified facts on the ground. If you meet me in chambers, or the security agencies meet me in chambers, and they want names, and they want to do further investigations on those people, that will be provided. And they themselves, they know that that is what is happening. And so when you mention specific places, you remember the time when the invasion started this year. Yeah. We mentioned the name of the MP for the area who was, we said, the people said was connected to this. We called him. He denied. The chiefs themselves in our wing held press conferences and mentioned his name. He continuously denied. So it should tell you something. We have ministers who are interfering in the anti-galamsey fight when they go on the ground. Ministers who have driven to the forest to stop soldiers. And we have mentioned their names on air. What happened to that? So until we start treating some of these things very seriously, under the previous regime, it happened. And these were not mere names. I mentioned the name of Chemawu to me at the time because I had evidence to back it up. And so in any court, I could provide that evidence. But what happened to him? Nothing. So in effect, when you start mentioning names across board, when you are not connecting them with evidence, then definitely you find yourself in trouble. But these are not allegations. Okay. These are facts on the ground that should be investigated and clamped down.
Very well. Thank you very much for the time this morning, Erastus, and we wish you the very best, and please do take care of yourself.
Thank you.
Great. That's my colleague Erastus Asare Donko over there speaking on the issue of galamsey, and some very new updates that we can all work with. No, so and I'll come to you. And with the repeal of the airline.
Yes. So.
Is this
but I want to comment on Erastus.
Okay, comment on that. So, and maybe I'll come to you to handle.
First of all, he has given updates on the role of government in the fight against galamsey. He has mentioned some of the positives that he has seen. However, we are still not out there yet, and he has done some suggestions. And I think that beyond this idea of reportage, I think that he should deal or collaborate more with the security agencies effectively so that evidence that he says he has can be given to the necessary agencies to deal with. Now,
why is those agencies not contacting him and providing support and providing security for him as well? So, because this is somebody who, on his own,
we don't know
go out there and do all these things.
No, his operations.
He's got evidence.
His operations.
If the evidence is something you need, you contact him.
That's what I'm saying. That this is a collaborative fight. It shouldn't be seen as somebody's fight.
Yes. So why is the agency not engaging? And rather, he is supposed to be engaging.
To that, I don't have that information on that. But I know that...
It's because you mentioned it,
yes,
that's why
I'm just suggesting to him that this is one way he can deal with the issue. Then on the issue of military base, establishment of military base at some of these
places that have been already...
Exactly. I support that call because if you reclaim those forests in 2 weeks and you abandon it, the people will go back. So in the meantime, before you do your alternative livelihood programs, the government is coming, the community mining program, and the more public education on the health hazards it has on our people, we need to safeguard and protect this for a very long time. So I support that call. And if you look at the videos, it is appalling. As a country, I think that we have failed in combating this canker. And the earlier we rise to the occasion in combating these criminals, the better for all of us. Then the foreign nationals, I have already stated that if you look at the repatriation regime of how much we get from our gold reserves, a lot is foreign. So it's also an opportunity for us once again to develop local capacity to make sure that our people benefit to the full potential of the gold reserves, not enjoyed by the foreigners alone. And he has also said some Turkish nationals and all other people. So I think we need to deal with that. And finally, I will talk about this whole concept of the use of military once again. I don't subscribe to that, but that is one way we can deal with that in the short term. But in the medium to long term, we should be looking at making sure that we improve our community mining program so that more of our people from the local communities will get benefit of it.
Very well. Thank you very much, Honorable. Let me go to Awal.
Yes, you see, he still dodged the issue of the LI that they promised in their manifesto that they will repeal, but they went ahead to only amend it. So as it stands today, you can still get license to mine in the forest reserve per what is in the law right now. That is one. Two is that my brother is saying that, well, I was talking about a blueprint by Dr. Bawumia. We've been in power for 8 years.
What's
in this country? We started with Operation Vanguard. When we came and met the issue of galamsey, it was worsening to the extent that in 2015, President Mahama went to Chebi and said that it is galamsey headquarters, you remember. He threw his hands in the air without he threw his hands in the air without even telling us how he would be able to fight it. At that time, when he was president, we came in and banned this mining, the small-scale mining. We banned it for 2 years. We trained these miners at UMAT, 3,000 of them at UMAT within the 2 years that we banned the operations of these small-scale miners. These were the things we did within the 8 years.
Was it a continuous?
It was a continuous one because after that we gave them the license back. They went ahead, and we saw that they were still destroying it. So we started with the galam stop. We escalated with the galam stop. After the galam stop, we went to do the Operation Halt, where we were burning excavators.
Yes.
And we were berated. The government was attacked by the same people. That why do you have to burn the excavators? Today they are telling us that the burning of the excavators is the surest way to go. You remember when Joe Weiss
said they still maintain that they will not ban them.
But
Erastus that made mention that he thinks that they were supposed to be banning them, but they believe that.
But recently they banned some. Recently they banned some. Even Mutala talked about banning. And again, you see, when we did all these things, they said we shouldn't have banned it and so on. They will make good use of them and so on. Now we're talking about banning again. Again, when we're deporting people in this country, they told us, even when we're jailing people, you remember President Mahama went ahead to say that when he comes he would give amnesty to people who were jailed for doing galamsey. When he met the media, he reiterated it before the elections, 2 weeks before the election. He reiterated the same thing, that he will give amnesty to them to come back and further destroy our water bodies. Again, we did deportations. We deported some people, including Aisha 1. When Mr. Yao Osafo-Mafo went and was justifying that, why do you keep the person in the prisons? The person will be at the taxpayers' behest, and they will just be feeding the person, and at the end you deport the person. Why not deport the person? He said, no, that was a wrong move. Prosecute the person here. And we suffered for this to the extent that we had to change the LI in 2019 to make sure that if you are caught as a foreign national, you shouldn't be deported. Now, Muntaka is telling us that he has deported 100 people. That's engaged in an illegality, because the Minerals and Mining Act is now telling us that the person must be prosecuted and can be jailed for up to 25 years and later deported. Now they are going and they are doing the same thing. And they think that the deportation is the best option. You deport them and they come back again. So what I'm saying is that when we saw all these things within that 8 years, we felt that the surest way to go is not to use the military to go and be attacking and be burning excavators and be doing all these things. The best thing is for you to enhance the community mining. It is not in their manifesto. What he's telling you about them putting people in cooperatives and trying to get them to do the community mining, give the mine to the community, it's in the Bawumia manifesto. That's what is in the blueprint by Dr. Bawumia, that let's have Joleka Sovi to be able to really know that this place there is gold here. Then you give it back to the people. You give them the license. You give them basic implements like gold catches and so on that they cannot be able to really afford. Give them a loan. Set up a minerals development bank. The bank will give them the loan to be able to do all these things, so that when someone is destroying their water bodies, they will be able to call the person out, or the government will hold them responsible. Because if you go to Anyinem, and the water is being destroyed, you know that you give license to only the community, and you have to hold the community responsible. What they are doing right now, Erastus has been giving updates. He's telling you that even ministers drive to go and prevent water gas from engaging these illegal miners. Party chairman, party executives, and so on. An MP was mentioned. I mentioned it here, and he also reiterated the same thing. So the government is not ready to fight this galamsey because they are still in the campaign mood.
Okay, I'll come back to you again, but let me engage our viewers a bit and see what they're also saying. This one over here says, KMJ, Awal can try as much as possible to resurrect the dead goat, but he should stop lying that the current government is implementing the ideas of the dead goat. He's just trying to let the dead goat look good in the eyes of the NPP supporters. Tell him he has a difficult task to sell the dead goat to his party supporters to buy. They couldn't stop galamsey in 8 years, so they should keep quiet if an issue of galamsey is being discussed. And that's what inside Asasetre Elembele. Let me go to this one over here. Says, good morning, everyone. Sam George and NDC told Ghanaians they need just 1 week to deal with galamsey. Now, the 4 months in power, we're still talking about galamsey. It's Sam George in Ghana. NDC says, scam. Christian from Sandema sent in that. Let me go to Master Plan over here, and it says that great submission by my brother Awal. Tell him I miss him. If President Mahama and his NDC decides to arrest and punish Ghanaian involved in galamsey, but only deport foreigners involved in the same act, how can we win this fight? Section 99, Section 3 of the Mineral and Mining Act 995 states that foreigners involved in galamsey should be imprisoned or fined. Both fined and imprisonment is still applicable on the foreigners. Why deporting them? It is clear that President Mahama is not committed to this fight. Regards to Hajia Safia Mohammed, incoming NPP National Women Organizer. This one over here says that, okay. It says, good morning, KMJ. First, let's correct our brother from the NDC on the show. The galamsey didn't start only under the previous government. In 2013, the government led by President Mahama gave up on galamsey fight. Let's not deceive ourselves. The Blue Guard are a job for the boys and nothing else. Today, we're being told galamsey is a national fight and should not be politicized. Like, seriously, you use galamsey as a tool to campaign against the previous government and want power. Today, the NDC is in power, and their party executives are now in charge of galamsey across the nation. Galamsey today is happening with impunity to the extent NDC party executives involved openly fight security personnel in galamsey sites. Today, under the watch of NDC government, we have galamseyers mining in forest reserve where galamsey have never taken place before. Government should come out clear as to why government is denying Goldfields Company limited lease renewal. What is the crime or government have better offer on table? If so, who or which companies is government planning to hand over that lease to? The denial of Goldfields Company renewal will cause a lot of unemployment in the country. There are allegations suggesting government intend to hand over the lease to a known and close relative to the president. If you know, you know. Kefri Pong in his own words. Now, this one over here says, let me go to this one. It says, good morning, Mr. Host. Please tell the NDC MP that they use the galamsey to win power, so they should solve the problem. Achu from Akuse sent in that. And Ablekma Central says, good morning, KMJ. Government should be seen to be fighting galamsey rather than the shadow boxing. Why are they refusing to declare state of emergency on our water bodies when a few months ago they were very vociferous? Now, special greetings to Abanga Yakubu Fuseni, aka MPP Abanga. Okay, let me go to the next one over here. Says, good morning, KMJ. Let Awal understand that if they bring Bawumia 100 times, they will lose 200 times. Political spider in Kintampo. Good morning, KMJ. We don't justify intentions. Who was Dr. Bawumia? No, KMJ, if we could speak in this manner, then the portfolio of assembly members is worth than that of the vice president. And then I mean, if the vice president could only have in his mind how to fight galamsey, but couldn't implement it, then he had really wasted our time in that portfolio as vice president. Please tell Awal we are weak now, but he's still working at YEA. Because community police officers needs their 4 months arrears after they wasted their time for 8 good years without recruiting them. Mind you, these are the people who know much about the movement of police officers. Vaga Gadeka. Okay, bring some over there. Tell me, unfortunately, I couldn't really do justice to the way for you. But
at why we were paying our allowances up to date, up to December. He said he's telling you that 4 months. So is this government that is refusing to pay them?
So yours ended in December, and that has been paid.
Yeah, that has been paid. That's why he told you they have not been paid.
So I want to believe maybe the 4 months is in reference to last year. Unless it's referencing this year. That's the
this year. Up to 4 months.
Yes. So you see, January, February, March, and this month.
Is it time for payment of
the man has
for you to say you are old?
So then it still make reference to the 3 months.
No, we were up to date in every payment till December. That is every beneficiary.
When did you pay the December salary?
We even paid January. Exactly. Because the CEO was even in January.
So my
understand? He left in early part of January.
Wait.
You understand? So he paid.
But you have it on record that it's been paid till December.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
No, can I make a?
No, if you okay, sure.
You gave him a
no,
second.
I'll come. Let me do 2 messages and I'll come back.
All right.
We'll continue from there. This one says, "Good morning. Good morning, Joy. Good morning, Mr. Host. Please, what happens to the man who said anytime MPP in power, there is always a Boko conflict, and when NDC power, no conflict in the region? Now, where are the NIB? They should go there and prove that they are men rather than harassing innocent people. Kevin Taylor should apologize to Otumfo before he starts solving Boko conflict, because why should you small boy insult Asantehene? Because, okay, let me not dwell so much on that. Good morning, KMJ. In fact, this Atta Issa is, Honorable Atta Issa, you mean, is joking, pa. We shouldn't do politics with galamsey fight. You're joking. Atta Adams from Tamale. Okay. I'll come back and do some of the messages. There are a lot of them this morning. I'll come back and
now
do
let me deal
the
with
rest.
this issue of repeal of LI 2462. The same point. Awal is still in the mood of campaign. I don't know why you people still don't learn. It was this same attitude of always defending, this same attitude of always politicizing state institutions.
So are you repealing it?
Of course.
And why did you amend it without repealing?
No. How is it amended? What is the content of the new amendment? Have you seen it? Have you seen it?
That doesn't come out.
Can you have let's respect how we've come so far. First of all, none of you here has seen the content of the amended LI. So you cannot talk about something you don't know what is inside. That's number one. Number two, we must tell Ghanaians that this LI that encouraged mining in forest reserve was passed or was given effect in 2023. In fact, the LI was issued in 2022 ending, and it started operation in 2023. Who was in government then? So if it has anything to do with degradation of our environment or escalating mining, illegal mining, then thanks should be given to President Akufo-Addo.
We own up. But you said
no, wait.
Repeal it.
We never. I have the NDC manifesto. You see, do your research before you come and make this type of. This is our NDC manifesto. Promote responsible mining for sustainable development. The next NDC government will wage a ruthless war against illegal mining menace and roll out aggressive program to reclaim our water bodies, degraded lands, and devastated forest reserve. 1. Place a ban on new mining activities in the forest. New, not existing. Number 2, wait. Number 2, amend the mining and mining law to impose stiffer punishment on mining in water bodies. 3, decentralized regulatory and licensing process for artisanal mining. That was what I told you. Now, the first entry point for getting a mining license is through the community mining.
So there's no point where you mentioned in your campaign that you repeal the.
We never said we repeal it.
There's no point.
We never.
Okay. So
No, I wanted to.
No, we don't have.
So my point is that
I just want to be sure
I don't have qualms with the idea of a complete repeal. I don't have qualms with that because if anything that we can do to make sure that the fight against galamsey seeks to succeed, I'm for it. But you can't play hypocritical like this when you are the same party that introduced the LI. Look, at the time, the call for the LI to be repealed was that, one, there was lack of public engagement or the engagement with stakeholders. They didn't engage anybody. Number 2, people also had issues with the contradiction of the LI with existing land policy, where we have as a country, if you look at the directive principle of state policy, our land policy is that we must not mine in mining activities. So there was that contradiction, and people raised the issue with you people. You didn't mine anybody. So you cannot be sermonizing, like I said earlier on this morning, to the effect that we should repeal it. Number 2, my brother talked about they are always good with slogans. I don't know why you have fancy with this type of slogan. Operation Halt, Operation Vanguard, Operation Galam Stop. To what end? You don't measure a man by the number of steps he goes. You measure it by the milestone. All these things, beautiful names and slogans you give to your policies, what was the outcome? The outcome was that our turbidity level had increased to 14,000. The outcome was that cost of treating water had increased. The outcome was that there were more people engaged in illegal mining than you inherited. That is the scorecard of your government. So when it comes to fight against galamsey, you should stop, because even 3 months to election, they didn't have the political will, the commitment to stop galamsey against a nationwide strike declared by TUC and other labor unions. I don't know whether you remember that time. The workers' union came and did demonstrations, said they are on strike, and they just wanted President Akufo-Addo to repeal the LI. Against the many views expressed by stakeholders against this LI, these people still, they didn't care.
If that happens right now,
so if the same thing happens, I know it is before Parliament. The new mining law is before Parliament, and we are on recess. And I'm sure next month when we return, you will hear the content of the new mining law we are bringing.
Okay.
But one thing I can assure you is that there won't be recklessness like the way they were issuing licenses to party cronies. In all these things we have said, have you proven anyone credible evidence to suggest that somebody's name has been used for illegal activities and the person is an NDC executive? These are all hearsay. But Chairman
the MP for our win was
your colleague. Look, it is not the chief.
The chiefs came and did a press conference, and it is
Erastus just mentioned.
Who even mentioned his name first before the chiefs came out?
Let me just.
And you are telling us that there's no single executive that was mentioned.
Wait. You see, these reckless accusations is what.
It's not reckless accusations.
Wait. Laratu made similar reckless comments, and when the person was sued, the person had to come and apologize. This type of reckless politicking must stop. You said a chief.
That is why.
Said a chief.
I said the chiefs held the
chiefs who had the press conference.
Is that enough?
That was why I said we're mere allegations about them.
But you are saying that there is no single person who has been mentioned.
As for mention, I can mention you are engaged in illegal gambling.
You can't mention my name because I'm not engaged in it.
My point is that Chairman Woutumi had his name as director and executive secretary to Akunta Mining.
Akunta Mining got his license in 2013.
Does it matter? They were engaged in illegal mining.
You are saying that he's being engaged in illegal mining. He got the license to do mining in 2013 under NDC.
Did it qualify him to mine in forest reserves?
He was qualified. You said he's a director. His name is a director on the mining list. And I'm telling you that you gave him that license.
So it means that he did beyond what he was supposed to.
The mandate of his license was. And you have balls to deal with him because he was a party faithful. Okay. And I'm saying that it is not enough to just throw out accusations and saying that this person is engaged. Bring the evidence that they brought against.
All right, so let's tie this in, and it still has to do with the galamsey issue. We're looking at the blue water gas. Yeah. In fact, it came up during our conversation. Erastus, I actually wanted to find out from him if it was the best way to go. But let's expand it a bit. The Lands Minister, Honorable Amwa, actually mentioned something during the inauguration or commissioning of these young men and women that have been put in charge of this. There were about 453 of them. Yeah. Now, in his own words, this is what he had to say, and it says that you are the eyes, ears, and first point of contact, working with traditional leaders and the local communities to safeguard our water bodies from illegal mining. Your duty is to observe, report, and escalate threats to the Ghana Navy Riverine Command Unit promptly. Now, that's their basic duty that they're supposed to use.
But you see, when you check their basic training, they said they were training surveillance, combatant, basic combatant, and the swimming and using of boat and so on. So that is where I'm saying that even Erastus, when he drove with his cameramen and so on, they were just driving on the highway. These people seized their equipment and took them somewhere. You remember?
Yeah.
Now you're telling me that a party executive, a polling station executive, you see the pictures?
Is that who they are?
But didn't you see the pictures?
No, but can you identify them as polling agents?
I am telling you that, yes, our people on the grounds are telling us that these are branch executives of the NDC who were put together from Western region because they were not drawn from across the country. It is now that the minister is telling you that he will come to
all the 453.
Yes,
they are all NDC people.
But in one constituency, you can have over 1,000 branch executives.
No, granted, but I'm saying that
I'm telling you that these are branch executives because you see, Youth Employment and some few other government agencies, when they are doing recruitment, what do? We advertise. People apply, and so on. This one, who applied? How did he even know how the recruitment was done? How was the recruitment done? You understand? We didn't even see the recruitment. Then we saw an inauguration. And we saw them in their yellow T-shirts. And we saw people. When you look at them, you know that these people cannot even swim. But they said
how do you know? By just
within 3 weeks, they said.
But you don't think that they would want to engage people who already have some level of swimming experience?
What I'm saying is that
if they want them to
even if we are to go by his submission, he said they have a committee within the areas. That the committee will look at the areas where there are gold and so on. Then the committee will issue licenses and so on. When there are threats, the committee people will also be able to. So why can't we do this? Why do we have to waste money on some people to go and do only surveillance? I'm telling you that when someone is doing surveillance with a uniform, it is even riskier than when you leave the person, train the person, make the person a volunteer, the person will be there. The person is not happy that their forest is being depleted. The person is not happy that their water bodies are being destroyed by the people. When they even go in there, just like the ANAS does and so on, go look for a job and so on, that is when they are able to even report properly.
So you think this is another knock-up in the offing?
Yes, you see, this is something that...
Because we've had issues with knock-up and now we're supposed to have seen it, become what we thought it would become.
Yes, but you see...
So we're setting up another institution like that?
That's why I'm saying that these people, what they have been asked to do, it doesn't serve any purpose because the military and the others are already in the forest combating it.
So the NDC is following what the NPP did then?
So
if you look at some of these institutions that were brought up and never succeeded in what they are supposed to get mandates.
So why do you have to attack us?
I'm just saying.
I'm saying that
is it not the same thing we're seeing now?
So how do you repeat what has been done yesterday and expect a different result? How do you expect a different result?
That you want to put the blame on the NDC for?
No, I am not, because I'm saying that when we set out, we came and met, inherited the galamsey. When we came, the first thing, we did a banner of 2 years. After that, we asked them to come. After 1 year, we felt that, no, we have to deploy the military. We did the military. We started burning excavators. We started deporting the foreign nationals and so on. All these things didn't happen. We had to go to Parliament and amend that ally to give stiffer punishments to even Ghanaians, up to 25 years in jail if you are caught there. Then President Mahama went ahead to tell them that if you even vote for me, I will make sure that those who have been jailed by a competent court of jurisdiction for galamsey will be given amnesty to return. These are the campaign messages by President Mahama. Then now Ataisa is telling us that NDC never said they will repeal the LI.
Mutala even also rejected that. He said that they never said it.
No, our manifesto is
UTAC and the organized labor went to strike because they said we have to repeal that.
Not only that, they were talking about emergency, declaring it as a national security threat and complete ban. So that was what you were saying.
When you people were calling for declaration of state of emergency at these areas,
were we those calling?
Yes.
The TUC?
Well, it was.
Even NDC people were saying.
I'm sure Awal is making that statement because it was the NPP that was in power.
And the you were supporting them. Today, where are they? Where are those who are saying that declared state of emergency? Today, it is even worse. That is why
what are you using to measure Western?
But you see, Erastus has made a report right now, and it's telling you that ministers drive to even tell them not to tell the military not to engage them. This is Erastus who was reporting the time that we were in government.
We saw your parliamentary.
Erastus never mentioned any MP.
Hey.
But under NPP, but today an MP is mentioned, and the chiefs in the community have even they slaughtered a ram to ostracize him from the town. This is how serious
we're not going to achieve anything with this.
That's what I'm saying, that the government is not. That's why I told you that when Samson Lade Ayenini read the manifesto of the two political parties, he told this government, after a report by Erastus, he said, if this government is minded and they are ready to combat this galamsey, they should go and read the NPP manifesto.
Not the use of blue water guards.
Because that will not solve the problem. That will not solve the problem. Because if you give Geological Survey the opportunity to do the prospecting in a community, after the prospecting, you give
the information to those that are responsible in compacting it.
No, you give the concession to the people there. Will they allow any encroachers? You give
so it's in your manifesto?
Yes, it's
and it's not in our NDC manifesto?
It is in our manifesto.
It is not in our own. Is that what you are saying?
It's not there. It's not there.
I'll read it to you when it's my turn.
It's not there. What we have said is that we will make sure that at least all the Geological Survey will ban prospecting licenses for private people. We make Geological Survey do that prospecting. After that, we give the concession to the community so that tomorrow, if there is any encroachment and there is anything, you hold the community responsible. And
that was what, and we make sure that we give them the basic implements. We set up the Minerals Development Bank. We make sure that we get gold catches that they are not able to buy, that they use the chamfine. Chamfine is even manufactured here. Some are even manufactured here. In when you're going to Anyinam, you see them, they manufacture some of them and so on. So we are saying that, we said that we'll ban it and do all this. That's why we're saying that. We have lived it. In the 8 years, we fought it on different forms. And we felt that the best way to go is not to use this combat kind of thing, not to inaugurate any blue guard and put their lives at risk. Because if a galamsey see anyone like this, they are able to even overpower police officers and take guns. These are people, when they see them, they can even shoot them at sight.
Well, I don't know proximity-wise how close they will be at these very sites.
So will they be in town? So if they are in town, what will they do?
They're going to be based that are closer to the riverside.
No, I'm saying that. I'm saying that if they are in town, then which purpose do they serve? They're supposed to be in the forest so that they see what
not forest. So I've already told you that it's supposed to serve on the rivers, nearby rivers, and know the activities that are in.
How will they know the activity?
Are you saying that all forests are in water?
I don't know where the surveillance comes in. Because if somebody's encroaching on any river and these people have a base there, they'll be able to attend.
Exactly.
There's an individual who's
you don't need any guard to know that, to see when the water is being destroyed. You know that there's an activity going on somewhere. Yes, you don't need any. Okay. You don't need any guard to sit there.
You want
to be able to really see
the community to give that.
The communities will give that information.
And if the communities
they will readily give it.
Is it not the same community?
That's what I'm saying. Get volunteers over there. Let them. If you even task the chiefs and some few other people to do it, they will do it.
You think they will?
They will, because
people are making money.
But they are not happy. They are not happy that someone will come from all the way from a different region. Come to the community.
There have been allegations that most of these chiefs are involved in this. In fact, as I'm saying,
the problem is that when the person gets his license from Accra, the chief cannot prevent him from mining, and that is the case. That's the reason the chief will say, well, if that is the case, let me also take my share.
The community mining the NDC is proposing is the way forward.
We started the community mining. You are not proposing. It is something that we have even given licenses for people to start, and you berated them for that.
License issued at the community level. It was
community mining.
The minister.
There were lots.
It was all issued.
It was inaugurated in Vitamango. I can give you the inauguration of the community mining. The community mining we have even started already. We have licenses for people.
First of all, talking about the mode of recruitment, how were these people recruited? He made a statement that these are party branch executives, and his reason was that it was not advertised. Do we take it that all appointments that was done under your regime that was not advertised were all party executives?
Yes, because by law. When you are doing recruitment in the public sector, you ask me a question.
So, Awal, you agree to what he asked?
I agree.
That is what happened. So it happened. Okay,
so I'm saying that by law, by law, you cannot do any recruitment in this country without advertising.
But you did it every year.
And you admitted.
Which one?
No.
Which one?
Wait.
GRA. All look.
It was advertised.
Awal, he asked the question, and you admitted that yes. So it means that it happened under your regime.
No, it didn't happen because we advertised everything. I gave you an example.
Does it mean that all the ones that you did were also the same thing? And you said
I gave you an example of.
So the yes was in reference to the example
I work. I said where I work at YE. Before we do any major recruitment of people like this, 10,000, 20,000, 200, 100, we advertise in the dailies, and it's by law that we have to advertise.
Okay.
How do they advertise this?
Okay,
I'm not. You asked me a question.
You are. My point is that there were several recruitments that was done under the NPP that were not advertised. As a member of parliament, I know what I'm talking about. I know
you entered parliament just about 3 months ago.
I know people. Listen,
you entered parliament 3 months ago. You were not in parliament when we were in government. You were at NDC headquarters.
You know, I've respected you so much.
Please go ahead.
So I'm just laying a foundation to suggest that me, as a member of parliament, that time, even as a parliamentary candidate, I know people who will go to big men in NPP and get slots. And say that they are recruiting in GRO, then I want to pay 15,000, I want to pay 20,000 to get into the enlistment. My point is that it is not enough to say that once you didn't see an advert concerning
So
this
how
blue
were
water,
they recruited?
I'm coming. Once you didn't see an advert on how these people were recruited means that it was branch executive. Number one, these are communities where the mining is happening. Nobody was taken outside to a community. The purpose was that we believe that you can only win the war against galamsey when you use the residents of the people, the communities, because they will face the full effects of galamsey in their lives. So if you see Pristia Huni Valley, the water gas people, there will be natives of that constituency. That is the type of thing we are doing. So don't make those. That's ignorant. Number two, he said no party official was ever accosted or blamed.
MP. I didn't say party official.
I will mention a parliamentary candidate in your party.
I said MP.
So parliamentary candidate don't have any authority and responsibility
for the first time
to behave well as a public officer
who has been elected to represent people. The people who elected him are saying that he is giving out concession.
Who are you making
in
reference
Western
to?
region, and a parliamentary candidate. In fact, galamseyers were approached by the military, and then the parliamentary candidate came out to say that if they approach them again, they should shoot the military.
Was he engaging in illegal mining?
Do we know this?
I can easily get the name for you before I leave this to you. He is aware of what I'm saying.
Was he engaging?
He is aware of what I'm saying.
Was he engaging?
In fact, the MPP came out with the press conference to distance themselves from him. And number three, look, I will not take much of it. He said, let me deal with this erroneous impression that has been created by him concerning the amnesty by President Mahama, saying that he will grant amnesty to all illegal miners that was arrested and prosecuted where he is given the nod. Context matter in interpretation. So you must be. The context was that the Chinese woman Aisha Wang, or what's her name, was arrested in connection with illegal mining. She was repatriated. The second one, she was repatriated. And President Mahama is of the view that these are the people.
The second one.
Wait.
We prosecute. She's in jail now.
No, it was the first one.
It's the first one.
Exactly, she's in jail now.
So wait.
And then there were even allegations that there were some cards that were made for him.
Now you are repeating the same thing. Muntaka has illegally repatriated over 100 people.
Finish.
Okay, so my point is that she was repatriated. And then the argument was that these are the people that engage in huge illegal mining activities, not the small-scale miners that do few ones. These are mining giants that engage in the illegal mining. In fact, they use the community members in the illegal mining activities. So if you are arresting the kingpin herself, and you are repatriating the person, and yet our poor Ghanaian citizen is languishing in jail. That was the unfair treatment we were talking about.
So has he given amnesty?
He hasn't given any amnesty yet.
So my failed promise?
No, how can you judge somebody with 97 days?
You said you give them amnesty to come back and further destroy our water bodies.
Personally, the Blue Water Initiative is just one of the numerous.
He didn't tell us how they were recruited.
Oh, well, let him finish.
He didn't tell us how they were recruited. He was
I just told you that the members of the Watergate Task Force were all recruited from communities where this were
illegal mining.
Was it advertised?
Okay.
It was advertised. Maybe you were not interested to know because you think. Now he talked about geological survey, funding of geological survey by in their manifesto. Let me read the NDC manifesto. If you look at the heading,
manifesto came first.
Oh
yes. So if
so it means they copied from you.
Yes, because ours came first.
You copied our.
They may have also written theirs.
You've copied our e-levy.
Our manifesto came first. So you
copied our e-levy cancellation and betting tax cancellation because President Mahama had made those policy propositions on the campaign platform. Yet you kept it in your manifesto.
Dr. Bawumia told you the way he will cancel it.
Let me land on this.
Our time is up.
Yes, I'm saying that I am particularly happy that this is not just the only method that we are using to fight galamsey. And I am for any effort that is intended to curb these menace. So I'm even proposing further to enhance our community engagement. People should be spoken to understand the danger that is confronting us as a country. In fact, the international reputational damage when a country is declared as a cocaine hub or a galamsey hub, foreign direct investments in those countries are badly affected. So this is not because of short-term gain. You like to destroy your own future. You like to destroy your own water body. You like to destroy your own forest. And I'm also, we need to measure stiffer punishment. We introduced stiffer punishment
It is in the law.
for people. Yes, that's what I'm saying.
25 years.
Yes, so we need to continue with that aspect.
But you said you give them amnesty.
Promote small-scale mining, like I've already earlier stated, that people should be put in cooperative and trained to give them enough small-scale licenses to also get benefit of our natural resources. There must be 100% ownership of our resources. It shouldn't be owned by private and foreigners. And then I'll land on this. We can never take good lessons from you, the NPP, in the fight against galamsey. Your legacy in the fight against galamsey is that you destroy our water bodies. Your legacy in the fight against galamsey is that
destroying it today. Today is worse. Today is worse. Today it is worse.
Galamsey happened to his doorstep.
That is a lie.
In fact,
today it is even worse.
19 million Ghana cedis in reclaiming that land. 19 million Ghana cedis was spent in Chebi, his house.
All right, let me do some messages and then we'll wrap up. This one says, and it's from Musa, it says that so far, so good. We commend the government for its renewed and diverse approach in tackling the issue of galamsey. The results are beginning to show, and it's clear that there is a strong commitment to ending this menace once and for all. This is not the time for unnecessary politics. We must all come together, support the efforts being made to fight this challenge collectively for the sake of our environment and future generations. Now, another one over here, and it's from Awuni Martin. It says, "Good morning, KMJ. Mr. Awal Mohammed and esteemed listeners, live from Kumasi, I'm pleased to observe the NDC government vigorous efforts to combat galamsey. His Excellency John Dramani Mohammed's leadership in this regard is truly commendable. It is crucial that we confront this challenge collectively as a nation rather than through partisan lenses. Mr. Kenji, please convey to Honorable Atta Issa that the people of Sagnerigu are deeply appreciative of his diligent representation and the considerable progress he has achieved in our constituency over the past few months." Okay, he's heard you. Now, Imoro says 8 years NPP government has destroyed all our water bodies. 4 months in power, JMU NPP people are expecting to bring the water to good condition. Time will tell. Great, my MP, Honorable Atta Issa, for me, never NPP government in Ghana. All right. Yahaya says that good morning and my regards to you and your panelists, Honorable Dr. Atta Issa and his good friend Awal. But Awal and NPP should give Ghanaians a break. Awal, see how you are struggling to defend the undefendable NPP and Akufo-Addo government. And that's from Basha in Katariga. And Coordinator Abu Jamal says, greetings to Honorable Atta Issa for your great submission. We, the Sagnerigu constituency, are proud of you, and there's no doubt about your competence. And this one over here is from Mumini Idrisu. It says, at the moment, watching you live from Namandu, Tamale, enjoying a lot from the discussion. Good to know. And Isif Mohammed says, we are down playing this existential threat called galamsey in Ghana. If our ancestors or grandfathers should come back to this country they fought so hard for and handed it to us, they will be shocked by the state of devastation we have plunged this country into. Our current president in opposition painted the picture of how differently he's going to tackle the galamsey menace when given the power. Seeing the way he's now dancing around his promise to Ghanaians regarding this fight makes me lose hope in his enthusiasm against galamsey fight. What even makes me more sick is the Minister of Interior who thinks it's wise to send his own people in the choked prisons but deport foreigners who can come into our own country and cause this level of crime. Somebody can come into my father's house and steal and is allowed to go free, but I steal. My father then sends me to jail. Please, 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 need more explanation on this. And that's from Muchacho from Karaga. Hamza Mohammed says that please tell Awal to stop throwing dust into the eyes of the public. I don't think the NPP is a political party, as a political party, has any moral right to talk about galamsey in this country. First, who took the LI 2462 to Parliament to pass to allow mining in our forest? It was the NPP. The LI 2462 was brought to Parliament to be passed by the NPP to allow their party members to mine the forest reserves. And example of such companies was Akwata Mining, which belongs to Chairman Wontumi, who sat on live television to display gold that he has through galamsey. So shameful. What was the reason behind the passing of the LI 2462? They should give us a break. And Zimzima says, so Honorable Ataisa, the good people of Sagnerigu are very proud of you. Perfect submission. And then the last one that I'm done on Facebook is from Same Boache, and it says that the government's apparent lack of resolve to tackle galamsey, coupled with their failure to hold illegal miners accountable, suggests a lack of commitment to addressing the issue. And it seems they have broken their promises to Ghanaians, allowing party supporters to engage in galamsey. Currently in Ghana, terms like galamsey, dumso, cocaine, money laundering, and boko are frequently used, and certain entities appear to be inciting these issues. Even armed men couldn't fight and stop galamsey. What can this water guard do? Should former President Mahama consider declaring a state of emergency? There's a question mark over there. And quite recent, one of the issues that seem to be coming up almost every single day or week is money laundering. That's also another serious issue that it's getting, even in the newspapers, it's getting attention so much.
Cocaine bust and so on. No one is arrested for that. It's just interesting.
It just shows good governance practices of transparency.
You tell us that you have arrested cocaine, you have arrested gold bars, 28 containers of gold bars, fake money and fake currency in dollars and cedis. You said it belongs to a certain Alaji has not been arrested. The owner of that warehouse has not been arrested. You don't know who is prosecuted for that. When you hear that there is a cocaine on its way from Cape Coast to Takoradi, and it's worth 350 million. And a parliamentary candidate, a former parliamentary candidate, the 2020 parliamentary candidate of the NDC in Secondary was mentioned.
You will be slapped with a defamation charge.
Was mentioned.
Your colleague was slapped with 10 million Ghana cedis defamation.
Be careful. Be careful. I said I didn't mention. I said no. I am telling you that 2020 parliamentary candidate. So his name was mentioned, and up to now, no one has been
mentioned by who?
The truck, the one who was driving the truck.
How can you
told him who? But up to now, are you not surprised that up to now
Lorenzo has apologized? Don't go on that trajectory.
I'm saying that we have about 3 cocaine busts in this country. And up to now, no one has been arrested for that.
People have been arrested.
All right. Honorable Ataisa, thank you very much. Awal Mohammed, thank you very much for joining us this morning as well. That will be all for this morning. A big thank you to Franco Trading Enterprise. Your microphones are off. Your microphones are off. Thank you so much to Franco Trading Enterprise this morning for bringing us this segment here on Newsflash.